Hi guys, Adam here as per usual, and the few people were just questioning and asking what pedalboard I'm taking out with the band. So we do average 2 to 3 gigs a week, and just wondering kind of what I'm using live. So yeah, this is just a little sort of walkthrough explanation of what I'm using and why. Oh, you'll have to excuse us, I've got serious hay fever, seriously dying. I wired all this together myself using this is Van Damme instrument cable, and these jacks I got, they're just actually unbranded ones, unnamed ones, really great for the price. Yeah, so I designed this rig and put it together myself. This is NSP Cases GB03 pedalboard, I think. The pedalboard itself is a little flimsy, but you know it does if you take care of it. But it's certainly not like a metal one like a pedal train or anything. But the actual case, which is the main selling point for me, the flight case, is sturdy. It's been stood on, it's been punched, it's had stuff spilt on it, it's been kicked. I've only been gigging a month and it's been put in the back of a van overnight and all that kind of stuff, and it's worked beautifully, it's worked fine, it's protected the pedals, which is its main job of course. Looks like quite a lot for a sort of simple kind of pop rock function covers band. I like to kind of have a lot of versatility. And the reason for kind of this board being, I know it's not the biggest board you've ever seen, but you know, there's what, 10 pedals on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pedals on here, so it's a fairly large board, you know what I mean? Yeah, but the idea was I was originally going to put 2 pedal boards together for kind of my solo stuff for use at home and in the studio, and one for kind of out on the road. But that was just going to be so expensive because I'd need duplicates of different pedals and stuff, and it would just be a right hassle. And in the end I decided just to make one board that would kind of accomplish pretty much everything, and then I can put a couple of the pedals, like a volume pedal, a couple of the pedals and stuff in front and stuff in the studio, that kind of thing. But mainly this kind of does everything I need. First we'll come into here, and this is just a simple 4-in 4-out interface patch bay type thing that I designed. I was considering also building a buffer into it, but I decided against that because I'll tell you about the EP pre. I decided against that. So it's basically it's really simple. It's guitar, like you plug your 4 leads in here, 2 top ones for effects loop in and out. This one sends to the amp, and this one comes into the pedal board from your guitar. So really simple, just 4-in 4-out, but it's a lot easier than having different leads plugged in all over here, you know what I mean? Everything's just in one place, really easy to set up and tear down. Yeah, we'll go into there, and then from there we go straight into this Clinch Effects EP pre. Now what this is it's an analog recreation copy of the Echoplex preamp circuit, and these are quite popular at the minute, but Clinch Effects was one of the earliest to kind of do this idea, and it's also, to my knowledge, the most faithful recreation. There are other ones out there on the market. Exotic do an EP Booster, there's another one, Badgerplex EP Pre, I think. They're all supposed to be really good. I've tried the Exotic EP Pre, and it doesn't sound anything like this. It's more of a booster, whereas this is not designed to be a booster. You get a couple of dB of boost around there, but what it actually is, it just gives your guitar a little bit extra character, a little bit compression, a little bit EQ, and yeah, it's basically like plugging into an Echoplex without the delay. And it's just really, some people use compressors, some people use boosters, some people use buffers at the front of that chain that have them always on. This is my always on pedal, probably 98% of the time. And like I say, it just gives your guitar a little bit of character and just adds a little bit of signal just to get through all of the pedals and all of the cable runs, etc. I really like the sound of it. And we come out of there into the chromatic tuner, Boss TU3, really simple, great tuner. Have it in the kind of strobe mode, pretty accurate to my ear, you know what I mean, no problem with it. And it also does have a buffer in it, which is supposed to be quite a decent buffer. I've noticed no difference in tone between having this in and out of the circuit. It's probably also thanks to having the EP pre driving it. Then we have a Dunlop Crybaby wah in a fancy enclosure, and it is modified. I've modified it for true bypass. I've also installed an LED here on the side because I was quite bad at one point for turning my wah on and leaving it on after a solo or whatever and forgetting about it, and then wondering why my tone sounds really weird. So the wah might not get used every show. It basically depends on what mood I'm in. And we do basically rocked up or funked up versions of kind of pop song. Every now and again when I fancy it, I'll put the wah on for a solo or for like the verse in a funk choppy rhythm, choppy lick kind of thing. It's also got a wider sweep, much richer, deeper sweep, and people have said that it sounds a lot more like a boudoir. It's probably somewhere between the two. I like it. Yeah, and it comes out of me wah into the Valvet custom drive. My love of the Valvet custom drive is well documented across the internet, so I'll not reiterate too much kind of about that, but it's a great circuit. Very low gain circuit, so I just use it as my main boost on a dirty channel. Even with kind of full gain and volume into a clean channel, you get a little bit of kind of crunchiness, but it's not really designed for that. In my opinion anyway. What you do get is lots of sustain, little bit of a volume kick, tiny bit extra gain, but it's just with and extra compression. What it does is it just smooths out and softens the kind of attack in the notes, but without it becoming cloudy or muddy. It's really strange, really clever circuit. Big fan, big fan. Out of there, into the Bob Burt Overdrive. This has been on my board, well, I think the custom drive's probably been on the longest. Lots of overdrives come and go. The custom drive one, I got it about, it's about 3 years now. Went on my board and hasn't come off. Same as the Bob Burt OD, that's probably about 2 years now and going strong. Absolute great. This is my Tube Screamer Overdrive. It's based on a TS-808, but with a lot of mods to the point where it doesn't actually sound that Tube Screamery. To be honest, it's got a lot more gain, but I use it here, as you can see, in a kind of, this is a gain, tone, volume, by the way. I use it here, and what I use it for is a kind of light, crunchy overdrive over on a clean channel. So there is some songs where I have solos that are normally done just kind of clean, but depending on what mood I'm in, I'll kick this in. Depending how I think the crowd will react to this kind of thing as well, I'll kick this in just for a bit of a blues crunch, a bit of a Stevie Ray Vaughan Texan tone kind of thing. And I also use this a lot in my solo stuff, etc. That's why it's on there primarily. These two, the custom drive and the Bob Burt, stacked into a clean channel. You've never heard a drive tone like it. Unbelievable. And then next is the Bob Burt Distortion. It's designed to be used over the clean channel. It's just a versatile thing. I use it for lots of different things. It's also there as a backup if like the dirt channel or something on my amp for whatever reason was to go down, or I had to run into a clean amp or something. I can use this with the selection knob and get a wide range of different tones. I use that a lot in my solo stuff as well, so it depends what mood I'm on the night. Some nights I fancy different tones over others, you know what I mean? And then we go into this Arion Stereo Chorus SEH1, and I use this for both chorus and for kind of Leslie vibe type sounds. With the band, I'm mainly using it for Leslie sounds, and in my solo stuff I'm mainly using it for chorusy sounds. I did have a couple of the chorus pedals that I've had on and off here, but really I think one is enough to get us by. I'm considering adding another SEH1 back in, but it's actually just finding space and means of powering it and stuff. Great pedal, well worth the kind of recognition that it gets. And then you come back to the interface and out into the amp, and then from the amp, the effects loop. The amp, by the way, is that I take on the road is a Hughes & Kettner Statesman Quad EL84 1x12 version. Fantastic 2-channel amp. You've got the clean mode, you've got the clean channel, sorry, with then like a kind of twang sort of setting, and then the dirt channel with a boost, and it's great. That cops a load of great tones, gets a lot of great Hughes & Kettner tones without having to take like the head and cab or something on the road. From the effects loop into this, the TC Electronic RPT1 Nova repeater, and I'm a big fan of analog sounds, as you know. The Nova repeater does a great kind of emulation of that. And the main selling point was these kind of tap divisions and stuff, delay divisions and stuff, and the tap tempo is essential with the live band. Yeah, it's just a great delay. I have it primarily set in the analog, or more usually the tape mode. A little bit of kind of chorusing on the repeats, dull them down a bit, just so they're in the background, but they're nice and, yeah, just nice and tapey, nice and analog sounding. Great delay. And then out of there into the Bob Burt reverb. Now the Statesman does have reverb built in it, a real spring reverb, and I like to use just a little splash of that just to give me sound, just to make me sound a little bit bigger, because I'm the only guitar player in the band, so I can afford to make kind of my sound a little bit bigger. There's not two guitarists fighting for space. So I have the spring reverb in there, yeah, set just quite subtle really, just a little bit of a kind of splashback if you like, just to add a bit of dimension, a bit of extra richness to my sound. And then what I use this for, the Bob Burt reverb, this is kind of I use this for a big ambient room sound, and I use that a lot on clean tones when we're doing ballads. We're doing ballads, I'll often put that on the chorus and the delay, and you just get this massive lush sort of 80s over the top sound, and it just works perfectly. It works ideal, and I love that sound. It's actually a digital reverb, but you'd never ever imagine that. It sounds so authentic. I think it's basically like a room simulation. Like a space simulation reverb, and it just sounds so authentic. It's unbelievable. Yeah, you can go from anything from like a small slappy sort of almost like a plate or a very small kind of tiled room, right round to full on almost never-ending reverb. You know what I mean? Infinity reverb. Sounds awesome. All powered, of course, by Voodoo Lab Pedal Power 2 Plus. I think that's been going about 8-9 years possibly without giving in on us. Fantastic. This mint tin that people ask us about is just for storing picks and any other little bits and pieces that I may need, but in there at the moment is just picks. I use V picks small pointed. They are absolutely awesome. So that's it, guys. I might do a kind of pedalboard demonstration at some point, but if you have any questions or you'd like to see the demonstration, then please do let us know. Till next time, guys, take care.